Okay, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate your time, and really great to see you again on the call, Cynthia. So thank you so much for joining for the second round. Always good to see you. Tonight or today, this morning, whatever time you are listening to this presentation, we're going to be walking through, I guess, mastering LinkedIn, or how you can utilize the platform to the best possible way, particularly for either a job search, your personal brand, or perhaps even a couple of key takeaways from a business perspective. So first of all, thank you so much for Michelle Ross for hosting and I guess putting this collaboration together. She has been an absolutely amazing partnership. So my name is Trisha Chapman. I'm the managing partner of Impressive CV and another CV writing or personal branding organization called Stellar CV. So I've been in the region for a number of years, in the UAE for about 7 years, and have since moved to Australia with my young family. So still deciding if I will be returning to the market, to the UAE or not. But nonetheless, LinkedIn gives you an absolutely amazing platform to be able to network and be a part of a community from a digital perspective, no matter where you are in the world, which is fantastic to advance your career and obviously be connected. So LinkedIn, there is absolutely millions of people using the platform. It's probably undoubtedly the #1 platform, especially from a B2B perspective, with over 30 million company pages on LinkedIn. So it's really important from a marketing perspective, if you are a startup or someone who is freelancing, that you also have a business page, so that then you can cover both aspects to an individual or freelancer, that I guess gives you some credibility that you do have your own business. So always think about building credibility within the digital space, and of course consolidating your subject matter expertise by having a strong presence on both aspects to LinkedIn. So there's millions, I guess the numbers are saying around 260 million monthly active users on LinkedIn, and it's super friendly culture. I mean, rarely would you see people, using negative comments or using the platform in inappropriate ways, which is obviously fantastic to be able to then network appropriately. So it's really a platform that you need to have a presence in, especially in the GCC region, because it's the #1 platform as well from a recruitment perspective. And that's whether that's active or passive. So you never know who's landing on your profile from a recruiter's perspective. So as I mentioned, it's a global platform, and you probably would be missing out if you didn't use this amazing social network.
Just like companies build their...
Okay, so if you haven't already downloaded the platform, you can use it on a desktop or a mobile phone. You simply just create an account and off you go. Pretty straightforward. I don't think I need to walk you through that step by step, but just jump on and download the app or create an account with your registered email. So there's multiple different ways that you can be using the platform. I guess at the end of the day, it's all about what you're trying to get out of it. So for example, job seeker, if you're trying to sell something, then you can use the audience of those millions of people to engage with. Obviously, well, I guess maybe not so obvious, but you don't want to be coming across as selling something. You want to be making sure that you are educating or being informative with your content, so that you can gain the trust of those stakeholders that you're trying to, sell something to, but without having that sales pitch. So there's lots of opportunities that, that the platform has got to offer. So just remember, guys, if you're using this platform for a professional purpose, specifically for job searching, there is a difference between your LinkedIn profile and your resume. So ideally, your LinkedIn profile should not be a copy paste of your CV. So it's like a LinkedIn profile is an umbrella terminology or umbrella, platform. And the resume is then one of those subcategories where you can go into finer details to your history, your workplace involvements, your personal life in terms of the attributes that you offer. So try not to be copying and pasting the content directly from LinkedIn. You want to add a little bit of flavor to it. So, and that's what I'm going to walk you through tonight. So how or what can you consider because don't forget, there's no right or wrong to a LinkedIn profile. At the end of the day, so long as it showcases your USP, your unique selling proposition, or your UVP, your unique value proposition, then that's the purpose of your profile. So it's really important before you start writing, before you start partnering with someone to be able to support you in building your LinkedIn, that you need to be able to define your own brand. Where do you want to be as that subject matter expert? Because if you yourself don't know, then it's really hard for other people to be either A, understanding what your value you bring to the table is, or B, what the writer is writing on your behalf. So make sure that you understand who your target audience is, so that when you start writing content, building your profile, and then ultimately connecting with people, your message resonates with your target audience that you're connecting it with. Don't forget, it's a public domain, a public space. So types of confidential information, non-disclosed figures, perhaps you've signed an NDA, these types of things where on your resume, you might be able to get away with perhaps using percentages for certain facts and figures, being a confidential document, or compared to LinkedIn, where you want to keep it very sort of generic, if it's just responsibilities or accountabilities. So depending on, I guess, where you're at your professional career or what type of information you're allowed to disclose, would then be the type of level of content that you would want to be putting in your work career history. So a lot of my clients, and I'm sure that, and I'd love to hear, Michelle, we could write a bit of a summary, but we try to keep things in terms of everything is clear and concise, and the impact statements that you provide on your LinkedIn profile, it's an enabler. So you shouldn't be putting every single detail that you possibly did on your profile versus your resume, because you want people to be engaged to either pick up the phone or ask for a call with you, or engage in a conversation to dive deep into the details. So keeping the statements on LinkedIn and I guess personalized is really important. So there is another point that, when you're looking for work, you can put that open to work banner, starting, I guess, working our way through the profile. When you come to LinkedIn, you've got your background banner, which I'll talk about, your profile image, and then whether you want people to know that you're open to work or not. Again, there's no right or wrong. Everyone has got their own opinion about this. So some people would not like to be known that they're looking for work, obviously, if it's confidential with your current employer, or it can make it easy. Maybe you've been in the job market for a number of weeks or months and are just really, maybe not desperate, but just really keen to get contacted and, get the ball rolling. Then it can be a nice way to say, hey, I'm ready, I'm open. And then that can facilitate a discussion. And I guess just on a side note, some recruitment companies, agencies, recruiters, etc., do have software that can filter people with this banner open or on or not. Okay, so if you don't have a personal brand, I think definitely this is the time to start. At the end of the day, if you're trying to attract the right audience and grow professionally, you need to start putting consistent content on there. So making sure that content is what your audience actually needs. So start brainstorming before you, even build your profile or update it. What do you want to be known as? Okay, because that gains trust. So if you've putting consistent thought leadership, subject matter expertise content, then you can walk the talk when you've backed up your resume application or your easy apply submission from your key metrics and achievements on your application. And then now you're putting out that subject matter expertise content on the profile to consolidate the thoughts of your application. Okay, so let's just walk through it. It's really important that you've got a catching banner, an eye-catching or engaging banner, right? So at the background, you've got the image or choice, sorry, I should say, the choice to be changing it. So a lot of people have still got, if you're new to the platform, that plain gray image that you've got across LinkedIn. Take the time. There's so many apps that you can download to create this, or jump on Google, or even something as basic as Canva, and just create an image, a statement, some form of replication to your values, to your USP, in a snapshot, what represents you. Alternatively, you could use something quite plain or perhaps just generic, such as the Dubai or your city's skyline. So I encourage you to have a nice background photo here rather than keeping that plain grey look. As well, having a photo, I mean, obviously, there's no right or wrong to this, but have something inviting. You don't really want a photo with your sunglasses on, or a photo where you've got the Eiffel Tower in the background and you're so far out of the picture that you are just a tiny dot in the picture of the image. So it's really important, when you're closing, when you're trying to gain trust with people, that you have got a nice, warm, comfortable image. Try to avoid your passport photos again, because it's not super inviting when there's no attributes, probably not the right word, but you're not showing much persona. Okay, another important thing is that you could have, so this is this tagline here, right in this section of the LinkedIn profile, and that is what is important, that showcases your unique selling proposition. So a lot of keywords that is relevant to your sector, your title, perhaps something that you're trying to offer if you're a personal branding, if you're a business owner or a subject matter expert, you can put those keywords in that tagline. When from a recruitment perspective, and as well as a Google SEO, these keywords match very strong with Google. So if you were to type in your name and maybe my name and say CV, because I've got these keywords in my tagline and throughout my LinkedIn, the SEO ranks very well. So it's important if you're trying to build your brand, or perhaps freelancer, then you want the right keywords relevant to your industry. For anyone out there who's into graphics, the banner, we're going to be doing it, yourself. The LinkedIn banner size is 1400 by 425. So as I mentioned, choose a nice friendly photo, something that is presentable, warm, inviting, friendly, and in a nutshell, choose a headline that totally rocks. So just some samples there. So this is just mine. I mean, I change my profile quite frequently. Yeah, I mean, there's no right or wrong way, but as you can see in the last few backgrounds, I've really changed, how I'm reaching out to my audience. Oh, goodness. Okay, so moving to the About section. So you've got your nice background image, you've got your nice photo, you've got a tagline. You now want to make sure that you've got the right location settings that you on your LinkedIn profile. I don't know why that keeps coming up, that image. I'm sorry, everyone. So see here how you've got Dubai. If you were located in the UK and maybe or Europe somewhere, Canada, and you're moving to the UAE, it might be a good idea. Of course, just be careful. I know I'm saying this being recorded. You don't want to get in any trouble with your employer if you're changing your location and they don't know that you're going to be moving. But it does help with some of the software from a recruitment perspective, because I can filter as a recruiter where I want the talent that I am selecting or hiring to come from. So if I'm hiring for, say, a marketing manager, the first thing that I can do is filter all of the applications that are only in Dubai. And if your location setting is in Canada, you might have the best LinkedIn profile, the best CV, but you're physically not visible on the dashboard of the recruiter purely because your location settings are not changed or are not visible for the recruiter. So when you're writing in the About section, you want to be telling a story. So first of all, you can decide whether you would like to be using first or third person. So I am or Trisha is. Again, there's no right or wrong, but you want to be engaging the audience with the personal story in terms of maybe where you've come from, how you arrived to Dubai if you had just moved, a little bit about you, and the number of years of experience that you offer, the sectors that you've worked with, and some hard and soft skills. So this ideally captures you in a snapshot with lots of keywords that are relevant for the positions that you're applying to, and encourages the reader to want to know more. So it's like your executive summary in your resume, but again, it's a little bit more personalized. So if you're a freelancer or a small business owner, you could be telling them the services that you offer, where you can be contacted, why contact me, what are my attributes, and then a call to action. So just a couple of tips, I guess, depending on whether you're a job seeker, you can just give a nice professional summary in the first or third person language, or if you're a small business owner, a freelancer, etc., you can give a few more call to actions. So there's another great trick that can support you, I guess, be a little bit more professional from a digital footprint perspective. So sometimes you might have seen on your LinkedIn URL, you've got all those numbers after your name in the URL. So you can create a customized URL according to your sector. For example, maybe you wanted to say Trisha Chapman, marketing manager, or Trisha Chapman, impressive CV. So whatever your personal brand is, or whatever you are trying to define yourself as, you can then go in and create a public customized URL. So to do that, you simply go to the home page. So you click the Me icon, that takes you to the home page. You click Edit Public Profile URL, and then that literally will take you to where you can just enter the details. So you can remove all of those numbers and then create that. So when you're sharing the URL, for example, maybe on your CV, maybe you've got it on other documents, on your email signature, all of these places that you're going to be sharing it, that's when the keywords that you've used is visible. Okay, so this was just some examples, I guess, that for you to screenshot if you wanted to, for a tagline. Yeah, just a sample. Okay, so as I mentioned, your profile of your LinkedIn, it's not a CV. So have a look at various job descriptions. So when you're writing your about section and the workplace history and labeling or giving all of the information to the, I think it's called description. So you've got the job title when you're entering all of your employment history, and then it will give you a description that you can enter. So you can have a look at various job descriptions and turn them into past tense, and then insert those types of deliverables into your LinkedIn profile, perhaps with some key adjectives, or for example, you initiated, you fronted, you spearheaded, you were the integral member of the leadership team, project lead of XYZ. So if you're reading multiple job descriptions, you can start pulling together keywords or key phrases that are repeated throughout those JDs. And then you can integrate these types of words and phrases into your own LinkedIn profile with the mindset that you will be picked up from some of the software used for recruitment purposes. So really, guys, don't waste this space. So you've got a number of characters. When you enter your about section and your job description history, it'll give you the number of characters or words that you've got left. So, I mean, my humble opinion, and again, you can go to different CV writer or different LinkedIn optimization organization or company to support you with this, and they'll each come back with a different opinion. But you don't want it so long that you use all of the word character length, because it can be quite, not boring, but it can be a long day reading hundreds of profiles or countless profiles if you're in the recruitment game. So keep the words punchy, have them high-level overview rather than specific achievements or metrics that may be non-disclosed figures, and don't waste that space by leaving it completely empty. Okay, so again, here are just some examples that you're welcome to screenshot. So there's multiple different ways that you can write your about section. So as I said, you can speak in the first person, or you can speak in that third language. So Diego is, or Karen is. And by the way, guys, have a look, see how this is, and this is an older version of LinkedIn, but notice the difference, and I've done this on purpose, that this was the plain sort of boring versus an image or a background, and automatically you want to look at this version. So it's really nice to have a look at your branding colors if you've got a website, making sure that everything is succinct and talking to each other. I guess that's from a freelance and business owner perspective. So show your achievements, but perhaps not in a specific quantified metric. Save that for your CV. Okay, so LinkedIn has given a feature, and this is, I guess, relatively new. It's about a year old. But if you're unemployed, you can put career gap. So that you've now got the feature to say, what were you doing in that year gap? So whether you're traveling or whatever your rationale is, you've now got the option, so that you don't have to, I guess, lie to say that actually I'm not employed or I am employed when you are or not. So it's a really good feature on LinkedIn to now say that you've taken a career gap, maybe you've got maternity leave or whatever the issue or situation is. You can be honest, which we're all humans. It doesn't matter if you've had a career gap, and people get so conscious that, oh my God, I've got 3 or 6 months gap. Let me just put something that I was freelancing. Guys, we're human. Everyone has a life. It doesn't mean you've lost all of your skills if you haven't been in work for a few months, even years. At the end of the day, you've still got life skills. For example, mums returning to work, maybe they've been off for 4 years, but you've been managing the house. You have been probably doing maybe some shopping, managing the budget. You've been, putting children to bed, so time management. You've been doing lots of other things that still require skills to keep you abreast with the requirements within a workplace. So just, don't be shy to say that you did have a career gap. And I guess from a resume writing perspective, that's where we would use a functional resume. So we can use skills as the key feature or, rationale, rather than focusing on employment history. Okay, so these are nice to haves. It's not mandatory. No one's not going to hire you just because you don't have recommendations, but it's a nice to have if you can get a couple of them on your LinkedIn profile. I guess it builds you some credibility within the market. It gives the reader a third opinion, a third party opinion of you. My thought process behind this: don't go and ask someone to give you a recommendation if you actually don't know them. I really think that this should be saved for genuine people that you have actually worked with. Again, they're nice to have. Okay, so another reason why I guess you should be having a strong personal brand, some nice recommendations if you can, and having very specific content that's relevant to your sector or skill sets, because you can put in internal request referrals in some organizations. So a lot of companies are now saving on recruitment costs. So rather than using a third-party vendor, they can come to LinkedIn and find people, or they have got an internal referral program where the employees get paid for referring a successful candidate. So a job seeker could reach to people to say, hi, Trisha, I'm just wondering if you've got an internal referral program. If so, here's my LinkedIn profile URL and my resume as attached. So if your LinkedIn profile is polished, I've got the customized URL, sharing that direct link will give them access to your profile and hopefully enhance chances of recruitment. So it's really important that you build relationships on the platform in a professional manner. Don't directly go and ask them, the person you're engaging with, hi, Trisha, I need a job. You want to be impactful, meaningful conversations before asking something. So, where shall I start on this one? So I guess there's two different strategies that you could use for focusing and growing connections. So if you're looking for sort of that social status and having, 10,000 followers or 20,000 followers, then you can go and connect with, anyone you want, because at the end of the day, you're after that follower count or that social status, which is a nice to have. Alternatively, you can be very select in who you are connecting with. So you've got a maximum of 30,000 connections, which means that you can see their content and they can see yours. And as well as that, if you're select, hopefully, and again, this depends on what you're using the platform for, whether it's a job seeker or a business owner, your personal page is only filled with people who are relevant to you. So maybe if you're a business owner and you're wanting to use the platform to establish sales or revenue, then you'd only be accepting people who potentially would have the purchasing power to work with you. Or if you were a coach, then you would be only connecting with people who are at the executive level. If you're job seeking, you can then, not accept all connection requests and only that of, say, the HR manager, HR teams, and say the senior management level. So from my point of view, I guess vanity metrics, that means they're nice to have. It's good to have a good follower count, but at the end of the day, you need to be strategic with who you are connecting with on the platform. So here are some simple tips of how to grow your LinkedIn profile. And perhaps just for reference, so I've got about 137,000 followers, and that's taken me about 5.5 years to get there. So it's not something that just happens overnight, because you can't connect with thousands of people daily. So yeah, you're not going to be a rock star in a matter of weeks. It's really important, if you're trying to grow your profile and have credibility, that you are giving consistent content, you're contributing with something of value. You don't want to be sharing external links to, say, for example, maybe a newspaper or a magazine or a YouTube video, because that will take people away from LinkedIn platform, and the algorithm doesn't support that. Therefore, you're not visible on people's platforms. Post regularly. So regular to me is probably about 3 to 4 times a week. Excuse me. Some people do a lot more than that, like twice a day for 6 days. So when you're first starting out, it can be nice to post quite frequently to get the algorithm working in your favor. And then once you've got the credibility within the market, your profile will probably appear more readily than others, because you've done the hard yards prior. Keep away from political and sensitive issues. I really think that the platform, after being it for a number of years, doesn't work well. You want to be making sure that the content is contributing to something of value. So give your prospects a reason to take action. So build a strategy, apply global best practices. So what do I mean by that? For example, your marketing campaigns, communication, maybe time to deliverables. If you've agreed to send certain things within your network and the inbox, making sure that you're sticking to those. Making sure that the experience on your page is a good one. Timing of posts, it's important, I guess, if you're really trying to be visible and have a large follower count, because the more visible you are on someone else's feed, the more likely they are to follow you. So have a look and see what works. If you're posting at 7 a.m., no one's actually on their phone or desktop at 7 a.m. and you're getting 1 or 2 likes on your content versus at 9:30 a.m. or 10 a.m. and you're getting 100 likes, then you know that that's the relevant time to start posting. Okay, so just coming to an end here. So this is in a summary, and I'll get you might want to screenshot this yourself or pause the recording and have a look, but there is different various connections. So you've got first, second, and third degree. I won't go through that, but please do have a look at your own time just to understand the differences between 1, 2, and the first, second, and third degree. So as I mentioned before, there's a difference between followers and connections. So followers means that they will be able to receive your updates. So they're following you, they can see your content, but their content is not visible by you. So you can't see them. So it's like a one-way connection, or one-way viewing. Versus connection, it means I can see you and you can see me. And connections are limited to 30,000 connections per person. So again, depends on the platform, what you're wanting to do. You can also change the button. I should have probably done a little video on this, but you can change the button so that it becomes automatic for people to click follower rather than connect. So if you jump on your LinkedIn, have a look and see, have you got the follow button or connect button? And I recommend that you have follow, because that means that you can then decide if you want to be connected, so see their content as well. Otherwise, your news feed gets clogged up with rubbish or information that you don't really care about because you didn't choose it initially. You didn't decide that you wanted to be reading that type of content. So I guess from an analytic perspective, there's lots of nice profile metrics that you can go and have a look at. It's super easy. You just go to your home page of your LinkedIn profile and all of these analytics are automatically populated. So if you're really serious about LinkedIn, then you can have a look at the type of people, who's searching your page, who's actually the sector that's looking at your profile, and then you can tailor your content according to who is actually looking at it and what search appearances you've been in, etc. Now, there's different analytics according to the basic or the premium LinkedIn profile that you have got. Okay, I think we're coming to an end because the Zoom link is going to end for 40 minutes before I have to send a new one. So let's just see if I get cut off. I will send you a new link. Otherwise, I'll upload this onto YouTube. Just remember, quality versus quantity. Pillar content is the content that is dedicated to your subject matter expertise, for your thought leadership, for something that you want to be known as. So in my case, my pillar content is CV writing, LinkedIn profiles, job search, job application support. In Michelle's case, you might want to touch on business, on coaching, on interviewing, maybe inside tips from a recruiter, these sorts of things. So when people begin to recognize you, they can link what your subject matter expertise is with you as a result of your consistent pillar content. So anything outside of the pillar content should be posted maybe once or twice a week maximum. And then that's what will build you trust and credibility in the market. So have a think. That's ideally why we do a social media calendar and have a strategic plan, and then put the tactics in place to be able to meet those goals that you've predeterminedly set from LinkedIn establishment. So if you would like any help with building your brand, getting noticed on the digital space, navigating LinkedIn, interview coaching, please feel free to reach out to either of us. Michelle would be more than happy to help. She's absolutely fantastic. I've got some great packages. Don't let being a new mom or someone who's returning to the workforce deter you from building or creating a LinkedIn profile. Because at the end of the day, just because you haven't had that full-time employer status doesn't mean you haven't gained or learned or developed skills that are required for when you do apply. So no matter what stage you are in your career, LinkedIn is certainly something that you should be maximizing and having a visible presence on. Okay, I will leave it there for now. Please feel free to reach out to me, info@impressivecv.com. You can check out my LinkedIn profile, Trisha Chapman, or give Michelle a message and she can loop you with me. Alrighty, guys, really nice to connect with you and take care.